Hello and welcome to Telegraph Studio and Business Reporter's Future of Marketing campaign, hosted by the Telegraph Online. I'm Alistair Green and today we're going to discuss how publishers should deal with decreasing revenues from online advertisements. And I'm joined by Till Faida from eyeo, who's in our Cologne studio in Germany. Good morning, Till.
Good morning.
Now, we hear a lot about decreasing profit that publishers have these days, and we hear a lot about ad blockers. So let's start with the latter. What are ad blockers?
Well, ad blockers protect users from unwanted ads. So they're free tools that you can easily install within just a few seconds on your browser or mobile device. And then if you surf the internet, you can decide what kind of ads you want to see, what kind of ads you want to block. So if you're annoyed by certain ads, like banner ads, pop-ups, overlays, or unskippable pre-roll video ads, you can simply turn them off. But the misconception is that ad blockers are only bad for publishers, but in fact they also represent a huge opportunity.
Why do the users deploy them so often?
Well, advertising has just gone out of control. So there are many issues. Ads are way too intrusive. More and more people are concerned about ad fraud, about ads that spread malware, or they want to control their privacy. They don't want ad networks to be able to track every move they make on the internet. So the people that install ad blockers, they represent a very sophisticated audience that just demands a much better ad experience.
Ads are out of control. You're describing a very dark status quo. So how could we have gone so far?
Well, it's not because publishers are greedy. It's because unlike in other media like TV or print magazines, there's simply an oversupply of available ad impressions. So as an advertiser, you can almost buy an unlimited amount of ads, which means it's just basic economics that if you have such an oversupply, prices are decreasing. So publishers feel forced to make up for the decreasing revenues by allowing more and more aggressive ads on their site, which has created this vicious cycle in which ads become less and less valuable for publishers. At the same time, they become more and more aggressive for the users, which is why it's no surprise that more and more users are opting out of this broken system by installing an ad blocker.
Publishers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one side, they have the users and they must give them the best experience. But on the other side, they have the advertisers and they need to give them the broadest audience. You as an expert, what do you suggest to publishers? How can you solve this dilemma?
Well, what's really interesting is that almost everybody agrees that not all ads are bad and some ads are necessary. A recent study has found that 83% of the people who install ad blockers only want to block certain types of ads. So there's a huge opportunity for publishers to win back an audience that previously had been lost due to too much and too aggressive advertising by showing them an alternative, less intrusive ad experience. And this is really what our Acceptable Ads program is all about. And we've been able to prove to publishers that in the long run, they can generate more revenues with fewer but more high quality ads.
Okay, I understand the concept, but let's hear more about the specifics. You're eyeo, so what do you bring to the table?
Well, our goal at eyeo is to empower users and work with publishers on sustainable monetization methods. So we've started this Acceptable Ads program, which means that all the ad blockers have come together and have evolved from blocking all ads to more a nuanced approach, which means they are now allowing certain ads to go through if they comply with a set of strict criteria related to size, placement, animation, and a clear labeling.
What about strict criteria? In other words, who are the people who decide which ad meets these requirements?
So the criteria are defined by an independent committee of experts from all the relevant stakeholder groups. So we have representatives of publishers, advertisers, brands and agencies, but also consumer groups, digital rights organizations and nonprofits. And together they define the standards for the Acceptable Ads program, and they really aim to find the perfect balance between a great user experience on the one hand and monetization opportunities for publishers on the other.
Now, we've only discussed advertisements, but for publishers, are these advertisements the only monetization opportunity?
Well, ads are going to be a very important revenue stream for publishers because paywalls only work for very few sites. Users are not going to sign up with 20 different websites. But it's important that there are more alternatives to ads out there, which is why we're launching a completely new product very soon, which is going to be the very first payment model for the entire web that works completely without any friction for the user or the publisher. So the way it works is, as a user, if you don't want to see any ads, you can pay a monthly fee, and then this money is automatically distributed to all the websites you have engaged with based on a very sophisticated algorithm. And by doing this, we're creating a completely new revenue stream for publishers, which is unrelated to advertising or paywalls. And we believe the combination of unobtrusive ads and a completely new frictionless way to pay for content on the web can really be the solution to solving the problem how publishers can monetize in the future.
Well, it looks like in the future the publishing industry will depend on better and more sophisticated advertising methods. Till Faida from eyeo there in Cologne, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.